I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Japan and Malaysia committed to enhancing cooperation in addressing pressing regional and international challenges. And BHEUU confirms no addendum nor official order from Istana in its record. Good morning. We begin with this story. Japan and Malaysia have committed to enhancing cooperation in addressing pressing regional and international challenges. These include tensions in the South China Sea, the Middle East, and the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. The commitment was expressed on Friday during a meeting between Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and his Japanese counterpart Shigeru Ishiba, who is currently on a two-day official visit to Malaysia, his inaugural visit since assuming office in October last year. The Japanese Prime Minister was earlier accorded a formal welcoming ceremony at the Perdana Putra complex. He was welcomed by Anwar upon his arrival at 9 a.m., after which Ishiba then inspected a guard of honor mounted by 3 officers and 103 members from the 1st Battalion of the Royal Ranger Regiment. The two leaders then proceeded to a bilateral meeting to discuss various issues and potential areas of cooperation between Kuala Lumpur and Tokyo. At a joint media conference, Anwar pledged support for Japan's initiative to co-chair a ministerial meeting on the Conference on Cooperation among East Asian Countries for Palestinian Development, or CPAD, scheduled for July.
It's essentially the issue of reconstruction of Gaza and Palestine, and it is very meaningful to us in Malaysia, and I'm sure many countries, including Muslims throughout the world.
The two leaders also agreed to uphold peace and support the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea, alongside fostering Indo-Pacific collaboration. The peaceful resolution of the Myanmar crisis, guided by the 5-point consensus, was also highlighted during their discussions. Meanwhile, Kuala Lumpur and Tokyo have agreed to collaborate on advancing hydrogen as an alternative energy source. The partnership is expected to be finalized in Tokyo by May.
Then there is this recent initiative by Sarawak that would involve Petros and with the cooperation of Petronas to work on the alternative energy, hydrogen.
Also discussed was Japan's possible involvement in developing a non-radioactive rare earth element processing plant. Anwar added that he and Ishiba also discussed the formation of an ASEAN energy grid, which will include Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. During the media conference, Japan also expressed its readiness to share its expertise with Malaysia in managing disasters, particularly floods. Ishiba stated that this cooperation was crucial given Malaysia's frequent exposure to risks and damages caused by natural disasters. For the record, 1 billion ringgit has reportedly been allocated for the repairing of public infrastructure damaged by the recent floods across several states. Now, the Legal Affairs Division of the Prime Minister's Department has confirmed that it had not received any addendum or additional documents from the Pardons Board in relation to Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak. The division, which serves as the Secretariat of the Federal Territories Pardons Board, also did not receive any official order or notification from Istana Negara regarding the matter. In a statement, the division warned that those who made statements which could mislead the public concerning the position or role of the Pardons Board could face legal action. It said this was necessary to preserve the integrity of the board and to ensure members of the public are provided with accurate information. The statement added that the Pardons Board is an independent body established under the provisions of the Federal Constitution and is not a government agency or department under the Legal Affairs Division. It also emphasized that the proceedings and information related to the Pardons Board are fully subject to the Official Secrets Act, Act 88, and all related documents can only be accessed by members of the Pardons Board and individuals directly authorized by the board. Najib is still pursuing his case in the courts as he wants the government to decide if the alleged add-on document is authentic and valid. The Court of Appeal on Monday sent his case back to the High Court to enable it to be heard before a new judge. Moving on, the Education Ministry will begin distributing the Early Schooling Aid, or BAP, starting next Monday for students in Year 1 to Form 4. The one-off payment initiative is being extended to Form 6 students for the first time this year. In a statement on Friday, the ministry stated that Year 1 and Form 6 students currently in their second semester will receive the aid on February 16th. Meanwhile, aid for new Form 6 students will begin on July 1st. A total of 791.25 million ringgit has been allocated specifically for BAP payments of 150 ringgit to each student as a one-off payment. Over 5.2 million students are expected to benefit from the initiative, which aims to help students secure school supplies for the new school year. The aid will be given through cash handouts to the parents of primary school students. Secondary school students can receive the aid directly through cash handouts or through their bank accounts or those of their parents. Malaysia is confident in Pakistan's potential to become a critical hub for exporting local palm oil products to the Central Asian region. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani emphasized that Pakistan could play a significant role in ensuring a stable supply of palm oil in the region.
Ianya sudah tentu akan memberi kita lebih banyak peluang untuk kita bekerjasama dengan kerajaan Pakistan untuk ekspor produk-produk kita ke Central Asia, Afghanistan, Tajikistan dan 5 lagi negara yang mempunyai penduduk jumlah lebih daripada 185 juta. Dan kita harap dengan kerjasama yang berterusan di antara Pakistan dan Malaysia, kita dapat mengembangkan produk-produk kita.
Earlier, Johari visited Pakistan's main port, Port Qasim Authority in Karachi. He also met with Port Qasim Authority Chairman, Rear Admiral retired Syed Muazzam Ilyas, discussing the strategic importance of closer bilateral ties and exploring broader potentials in the logistics sector. During his official visit to Pakistan, Johari also visited several Malaysia-Pakistan joint venture companies, including Westbury Group, FGV Holdings, IOI Corporation, and KLK. The chief executive officer of a television station based in Sarawak has been detained to assist investigations into a money laundering case. Also arrested were 2 of his children, along with 2 other individuals. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussain confirmed the arrests when contacted by TV3. He stated that several assets, including vehicles, were seized and bank accounts amounting to 17.4 million ringgit have been frozen. The operation, codenamed Up Ragata, was launched after receiving several police reports against the suspects. The allegations include criminal breach of trust by the company's director, tender fraud, as well as awarding tenders to themselves and family members. The operation was initiated based on information from Bank Negara Malaysia in October regarding suspicious transactions linked to several of the suspects' bank accounts. The 61-year-old senior executive was apprehended on Friday following a search of his office. The suspect's 2 children, aged 29 and 26, were also arrested, along with 2 other individuals aged 62 and 64. The case is being investigated under the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act. 4 individuals, including a company director and a company secretary believed to be involved in a syndicate forging land title documents, have been remanded to assist investigations into the case. Anti-graft investigators were granted a 6-day remand order until January 15th. According to sources, the 4 men, aged between 40 and 50, were arrested between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Thursday at the Johor MACC office. It is understood that the suspects were arrested for allegedly falsifying documents when applying to the State Lands and Mines Office for extension of ownership related to lost land grants under Section 168 of the National Land Code. The source added that initial investigations revealed that the suspects were believed to have committed the acts between 2019 and 2024. Johor MACC Director Dato Azmi Alias confirmed the arrest and said the matter was being investigated under Section 18 of the MACC Act. 4 men were left wounded after being hacked by a group of masked men using machetes at a restaurant in Nightline, Negeri Sembilan on Thursday night. In the incident, which took place at about 9:40 p.m., a group of 5 men believed to be Malaysians emerged from a vehicle outside the restaurant and attacked the victims who had been having a drink. Nilai District Police Chief Abdul Malik Hasim said the victims, aged 44 to 59, were taken to Tuanku Jaafar Hospital in Seremban for treatment, and all 4 are reported to be in stable condition. The motive of the attack remains under investigation. The case is being investigated under Sections 148 and 326 of the Penal Code for rioting with a weapon and voluntarily causing hurt using dangerous weapons. Now in Selangor, a freelance photographer claimed trial at the Petaling Jaya Magistrates Court on Friday to 2 charges of voluntarily causing hurt to 2 fashion designers. The accused, 30-year-old Muhammad Imran Khairil, made the plea after the charges were read out to him before Magistrate Farah Azura Muhammad Saad. Imran was accused of causing injuries to 47-year-old Azmi Abdul Rahman and 53-year-old Raziman Din using a camera as a weapon. He allegedly committed both offences at 8:45 p.m. and 9 p.m. at a hotel in Persiaran Bandar Utama on Wednesday. The charges, framed under the Penal Code, carry a maximum 10-year jail term, a fine or whipping upon conviction. The magistrate set bail at 3,500 ringgit with 1 surety for each charge and barred the accused from approaching or harassing the victim until the case is concluded. The court fixed February 28th for next case mention. On Thursday, a video of the incident's aftermath went viral on social media. The recordings show the victims with injuries on their cheeks after they were allegedly hit by the accused with his camera. Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) is expected to maintain its overnight policy rate (OPR) of 3%. According to BMI, a unit of Fitch Solutions, this follows a slight drop in inflation, which decreased from 1.9% in October to 1.8% in November. Now, BMI expects inflation to average 1.8% in 2024 and 2.4% in 2025, assuming no major changes in domestic policies or global price increases. It also noted that BNM believes inflation will stay manageable in 2025, though its outcome will depend on how domestic policies are implemented, specifically the removal of the RON 95 petrol subsidy. The OPR is forecasted to remain unchanged through 2025 as the central bank is optimistic about the economic outlook, citing ongoing investment projects that are expected to raise exports and expand the productive capacity of the economy. The Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, JS, says is part of Malaysia's plan to reach high-income nation status between 2028 and 2029. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said the government needs to expedite economic restructuring by shifting from a commodity and manufacturing-based economy to one focused on value creation and the development of intellectual properties to achieve this goal. Now, in an exclusive interview with Channel News Asia, Rafizi said that Johor can be the next base for tech investments alongside Pulau Pinang and the Klang Valley by partnering with Singapore. He added that the Special Economic Zone is a manifestation of the first few steps towards a closer integration between 2 ASEAN economies and paves the way for more integration in the region. Malaysia's decision to adopt a multi-sectoral approach reflects ASEAN's anticipated growth as the world's 3rd or 4th largest economy over the next 10 to 15 years. The United Nations said it projected the global economic growth to remain at 2.8% in 2025, unchanged from last year. According to a report released on Thursday, despite falling inflation, improving labor market conditions, and monetary easing, global growth is predicted to remain below the pace seen before the pandemic, and the world economy continues to face significant uncertainties. The report said that lower inflation and ongoing monetary easing in many economies could provide a modest boost to global economic activity in 2025. It also forecasts the world economy will increase 2.9% in 2026. However, uncertainty still looms large, with risks stemming from geopolitical conflicts, rising trade tensions, and elevated borrowing costs in many countries. National doubles pairs book tickets to semis. Sports after this breather. Thanks for staying with us. Sports now. Badminton, the 2025 Malaysia Open. It was a great day for the national campaign after 3 doubles pairs produced a superb display in the respective matches to storm into the semifinals on Friday. Men's doubles Man Wei Chong, T Kai Woon continued their great run by storming into the semi-finals after defeating world number 29 French brothers Thomas Jr. Popov, Christo Popov 21-15, 21-11 in 40 minutes. They will play China's world number 18 Chen Bo-yang Liu Yi next. Ong Yu-sin, Teo Yi, however, suffered a different fate in the men's doubles event after falling to India's Satwik Sairaj Rankireddy Shiraj Shetty 24-26, 15-21. In another action, mixed doubles shuttlers Chen Tangji, To Yi Wei were in fiery form as they joined fellow Malaysians Goh Sun Huat, Siobhan Lai in the last 4. The world number 5 pair needed only 36 minutes to oust Japan's world number 14 Hiroki Midorikawa, Natsu Saito 21-11, 21-18, setting up a meeting with world number 1 Feng Yanjie, Huang Dongping of China in the last 4. Earlier, Sun Huat, Siobhan also made it to the mixed doubles semi-finals after overcoming China's Cheng Xing, Zhang Qi 21-15, 22-20 in the last 8. The world number 6 independent pair next take on Japan Masters champions Dechapol Pavaranukro Supisara Pusampran of Thailand for a place in the final. Turning to football, the English FA Cup. Everton kicked off a new era hours after their manager Sean Dyche was fired with a 2-0 third-round victory over League One Peterborough United on Thursday. The hosts broke the deadlock in the 42nd minute after Beto latched onto a through ball from Harrison Armstrong and rounded keeper Nicholas Bilokovic before slotting the ball into the empty net. Everton then missed a great chance to double the lead early in the second half when Nathan Patterson cut the ball back to Idrissa Gueye, who shot well over the crossbar. A lengthy delay in play took the momentum out of Peterborough's bid for a late fight back as Iliman Ndiaye sealed the victory for relegation-threatened Everton from the penalty spot in the 98th minute, securing their spot in the 4th round. Moving on to tennis, the 2025 Adelaide International. Felix Auger-Aliassime continued his positive start to 2025 with a hard-earned semi-final victory on Friday. The 24-year-old downed top seed Tommy Paul 7-6, 3-6, 6-4 to reach his 16th ATP Tour final and his first on outdoor hard courts since an ATP 250 in Melbourne in 2021. The 5th-seeded Canadian will meet 2nd seed Sebastian Corda in Saturday's final. In the women's event, Madison Keys advanced to the final with a score of 5-7, 7-5, 3-love after Lyudmila Samsonova was forced to retire in the third set due to an abdominal injury. After narrowly losing the first set, world number 20 Keys battled to a gritty second set win before an ailing Samsonova retired while down a double break in the decider. The 29-year-old American faces fellow American Jessica Pegula in the final. LA police arrest arson suspect as death toll rises to 10. The details when Nightline returns. We're back with world news now. At least 10 people have been killed by the fast-moving wildfires tearing across the Los Angeles area on Friday, while a suspected arsonist, allegedly armed with a flamethrower, was arrested. Officials said the death toll is expected to climb. This came hours after the Kenneth fire broke out north of the Palisades fire on Thursday. Authorities said it is believed the blaze was started intentionally. Later on Thursday, a man who was armed with a flamethrower was restrained by citizens after allegedly attempting to light a fire in Woodland Hills before being detained. The Palisades fire, one of the most destructive the city has seen, is now at 6% containment. The fire has scorched almost 20,000 acres, while the Altadena and Pasadena-based Eaton fire has burned 13,690 acres. At least 180,000 residents have been forced to evacuate, and 10,000 structures feared burnt down. Meanwhile, the destructive wildfires in Southern California have left residents in despair as the flames continue to devastate their homes and businesses. A break from destructive winds allowed firefighting planes to take off once again as residents of the Palisades were waiting anxiously to get back into their neighborhood to see what's left of their homes.
Certainly we weren't prepared for something of this magnitude. And I think that they were so overwhelmed with the fires, so concentrated and so large in that area with the high wind that we had, there was no possible way to fight it.
To recognize.
Oh my God, I cannot, wow, there's nothing left in here. Wow. Wow. This is the area where I went every day, 12 years. Those things that there's not so much one can do. It's just really a grieving process. You have to allow the grieving.
Fire in the city's history. It is Tianshan, CGTN.
In a singular moment in U.S. history, President-elect Donald Trump was sentenced on Friday for his New York hush money conviction after the nation's highest court refused to intervene with a stay. With Trump 10 days from inauguration, Judge Juan M. Merchan sentenced Trump to unconditional discharge. This would mean no jail time, no probation, and no fines would be imposed. Regardless, Trump will become the first person convicted of a felony to assume the presidency. During his statement, Trump stressed that the legal fees were not put down by him, but by his accountants. He also described details of his election victory, saying that he won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes, and noting that he won all 7 swing states. Meanwhile, Friday's sentencing hearing comes as Trump prepares for his second term in office next week. In the meantime, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's security chief on Friday claimed that the impeached leader has been unfairly treated for a sitting leader and warned bloodshed must be avoided. Arriving at police headquarters for questioning, Park Chung-jun said the current attempt to arrest a sitting president is wrong and Yoon deserved treatment becoming of the country's status.
저는 어떠한 경우에도 물리적인 충돌이나 유혈 사태가 일어나서는 안 된다는 생각으로 이러한 사태를 방지하기 위해서 그동안 최상목 대행에게 여러 차례 전화를 드려서 정부기관 간의 중재를 건의드렸고 또 대통령 변호인단에게도 제3의 대안을 요청한 바가 있습니다. 그러나 그에 맞는 답을
Park is himself under investigation for obstructing official duty related to a 6-hour standoff last week between PSS agents and investigators trying to execute an arrest warrant for Yoon. European Union scientists on Friday said the world just experienced the first full year in which global temperatures exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial times. The milestone was confirmed by the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service, which said human-caused climate change is pushing the planet's temperature to levels never before experienced by modern humans. The impacts of climate change are now visible on every continent, affecting people from the richest to the poorest countries on Earth. In 2024, Bolivia and Venezuela suffered disastrous fires, while torrential floods hit Nepal, Sudan, and Spain, and heat waves in Mexico and Saudi Arabia killed thousands. Elsewhere, the U.S. experienced 24 climate and weather disasters in 2024, in which the cost of damages exceeded $1 billion. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as an Italian couture house is set to open a new exhibition featuring 200 original creations in Paris in the iconic Grand Palais Exhibition Hall. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and stay safe.